Hello everyone, this is Dawn over at Plot Chronicles. I'm doing a book review for my very first supernatural thriller that I want to share about. And let's get started and talk about it. It's called Ask Andrea. I thought the book was good. I'll just start off saying that. First time I've read this author. Her name is Noelle. Not sure how to pronounce her last name, but I'll put it below. It's Ihli. But I want to tell you briefly about this book. I listened to it as an audio, but I will be reading more books from this author, and I know she has to be a popular author, and let me tell you why. Because all of her books, if you want any of them, you have to put them on hold. So that means when you find an author that maybe they've written 8 books and 8 of the 8 of them, or most all of them, you've got to put on hold. You know what? Frida McFadden is like that. Almost every single one of her books you got to put on hold. Okay. Also, Daniel Hurst is like that. Several authors are like that. And so that tells you they're popular authors. But I thought this book was really good. I'm going to do my best to tell you about it and I won't give a spoiler. So this is what the book's about. There's 3 young women that have, and there's probably more, but this is what the story focuses on. 3 young women who've been unalived by a man named James I think it's Carson. And he is a charming, handsome guy that a lot of women are very attracted to. You know, he's not only good looking, but he's also charming and sweet and gentlemanly and very well liked, you know, funny and all that good stuff. Has all the wonderful, charming qualities, as you know. Well, these 3 women at different times within, a certain period of time, I think it was within a few years. I think it's Brescia, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. Megan and Sky, okay? And it was in the Idaho-Utah area. They've all been unalived by this guy. And what it is that he is on this dating app and, meets women on this dating app. And they might even go out for a while, things like that. Well, basically, they end up unalived, okay? And their families are looking for them. They don't know what's going on. Well, these women come back as ghosts. One thing I do want to mention also is that James is married to a lady named April who does not know what's going on, and they have 2 young daughters, okay? And he has a good job, all that good stuff. Well, these women come back as ghosts, and at first you're listening to them separately, but then they join forces towards the end of the book. And I thought the book was quite interesting, actually. And I do have to mention that, these ghosts may not have a lot of powers, but they can come to you in your sleep. And one of them can actually mess with the electricity and internet. So whenever James was going online or going on these dating apps, one of them would, turn off the computer on and off. He even had an electrician out and all that kind of stuff. And so he would do things like that. Well, these ghosts are trying to follow James around and trying to send messages any way they can to other women not to go with these guys. They also are doing things to try to help the police, look for clues, anything that they can do to try to get this guy caught and arrested so he doesn't hurt not only other women, but his family as well. I thought the book was very interesting. It was different. I don't read books like this, so it definitely kept my interest. And my favorite part of the book was when one of the ghosts kept turning on and off, the computer, and the guy, he was getting so frustrated. That was good. And these ghosts can come haunt you in your dreams, send messages and things like that. That was also interesting. So I definitely think it's worth looking at. It kind of teaches young women, you might not, going on these dating apps may not be a safe thing to do. By the way, I do want to mention one thing in the book. I don't think it's given a spoiler. There was one lady named Nicole that was going out with him. And one of the ghosts went on the date with them. Now, obviously, nobody sees this ghost, but what she did was she would send messages and kind of give this person bad vibes and things like that, got in her thoughts and just kind of gave her a bad feeling about this guy. Well, Nicole took listened to the ghost and was like, you know what? I'm not feeling really well. I need to take an Uber home. I'm sorry, I got to cancel the date. She got home. She, reported the guy that she felt like he was kind of creepy and felt really uncomfortable. And she deleted him off her app. He didn't know where she lived because they met somewhere. So she was safe. But they would do things like that. So the main thing you need to know is, well, What happens? Does April, the wife, know what's going on? Does she not know? How is the safety of other women? What happens to that? Do the ghosts help the police figure out what's going on? Does this guy get caught? And what happens to the ghosts at the end of the story? So all of these things. I thought it was really a good book and definitely worth reading. I'll list it below, and I will be reading other books from this author. Now, the next book I'm going to do a review on, I thought the book kept my interest for the most part, but I did not like the ending. But I'll tell you about that in my next video. Let me know what books you're reading. I always ask that. Love you, appreciate you, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Bye, everybody.